Welcome to another tech video. Today we are going to be looking at an Asus Vivobook. It's an X513EA 15.6 inch machine. Comes with a Core i5 processor. That is the 1135G7. Comes with 256 gig of SSD and 8 gig of memory. So let's talk about the specs first of all. So as I mentioned, it's a i5 1135G7 processor, quad core, 2.4 gigahertz is the base clock, boosting to 4.2 gigahertz with an 8 meg of cache on board, and the memory is DDR4, 8 gig, and storage 256 gig SSD drive. Okay, so without further ado, we'll talk about the specs as we go forward, but without further ado, let's get into the box and have a look to see what we get. Okay, so let's get into the box. And see what we get. Okay, that's impressive, I have to admit. I like the wording and the slanted back face on the box itself. This looks impressive. So let's go ahead and get the device out. So we've got a anti-static soft cloth on here on the device itself. We'll come back to that shortly. In the box we've got our Asus warranty card. We've got a leaflet for My Asus, which gives you the ability to register your device and get your support options through there. And that's pretty much it on that one. And in here we've got a very small user guide. And then inside here we've got a brown envelope. So let's open this up and see what we get inside here. Oh, cool. Right, so you get lots of little stickers. I don't think we'll be using these, but some of our customers might like them. And then these are quite good. So we've got our sticker pack here, work in progress, spaceship, super cool. They may well be glow in the dark. Not sure about those. I'm sure they probably are though. So yeah, that's a nice little touch for that laptop. You certainly don't get anything like that with other suppliers. And another sticker. So lots of stickers in the pack, welcoming you as an Asus customer. Okay, so in here we should have the power adapter, which we do. And the power brick itself is 65 watt power brick. It's quite nice. And our UK power cable. Nothing else in the box. So yeah, really nice, like that box. Okay, so let's move on to the laptop itself. Take it out of this nice anti-static bag. So this device, you can, what this is telling us, it's you can boost the performance by 40%, and the way you do that is you press your function button and then F, I believe, but we can double check on that later. And again, protective layer on top of the keyboard, and yeah, really nice. So Intel Iris Xe graphics. This tells you about the device itself. Let's have a look at the around the unit itself. So nice slim bezels down the side. You always get a wider bezel at the top because of the HD webcam and dual microphone speakers, or you've got an LED and a microphone there. And let's move around to the device itself and have a look at the connectivity options. Okay, impressive. Okay, so what we've got here is we've got HDMI 1.4 output. Yep, so that is HDMI 1.4, and we've got, in terms of the connectivity, we've got one on this side. We've got 1, 2, 3 USB ports, and the USB ports are made up as follows. So here we've got a USB Type C, and then we've got a USB 3.2. We've got a combined headphone and microphone jack, and then we've got a micro card reader on the side there. Moving around to this side, we've got nice and simple 2 USB 2 ports, and they are USB 2.0 ports there, so that'll be where you can connect your peripherals such as keyboard and mouse. But on this side here, you've got your Type C USB, so you'll be able to connect a Type C USB 3 hub, and also you can plug in a USB 3 hub into that as well. This one will be a powered USB Type C. Okay, so in terms of the screen, so the screen is full HD 1080p, and it's an IPS LCD panel. It's got LED backlighting and anti-glare, and it's 250 nits, so it's not the brightest that we've seen, but it's ideal for inside and outside use. What about the Wi-Fi? Okay, so the Wi-Fi that it comes with is Wi-Fi 6, that's the latest generation, and nothing else to say on that. It comes with Bluetooth 5. There is no RJ45 port, so if you want to connect an RJ45 cable, then you're going to need to get yourself an adapter, probably in the USB Type C port there. So get yourself a USB Type C adapter that has an Ethernet port, and that will give you the ability to connect to your local area network with a cable. Okay, so what about the dimensions? So the dimensions are 235mm high, 359mm wide, and 19.9 depth. So as you can see here, it is a really slim device. Height as in this way, width as in this way, so 359 by 235, and then the depth of it is 19.9mm. It doesn't come with a DVD writer. None of the devices do nowadays, but you can buy yourself a USB DVD read writer if you want that. Weight wise, fairly light. This is 1.8 kilos, and the reason that we've chosen this one was because of the screen size. So although the 14-inch and 13.3-inch screens are neat, they're very expensive. The smaller you go, the more expensive they get. But this one is nice in terms of the screen size and the fact that it is anti-glare, so it's not a reflective panel on the front. So in terms of the functionality on the keyboard, all the usual functions are here on the keyboard, and I'm not sure why we've got that nice yellow colour around the enter key. I guess it's so you can find it easily. So without further ado, let's get the device switched on and have a look at it. Okay, so let's run through the installation and setup process. Okay, so that's the reboot done. Now what we're going to do is we are going to connect it to the internet, and we're going to have a look at the Windows updates. First of all, we're going to go to properties and just check. Okay, so it's 20H2, so it has moved on, but it's not too 2 down level, so we'll run Windows Update and see what needs to update. Okay, so there's quite a few updates going in there. We'll let this finish. Okay, so that's the updates all completed now. What we're going to do is we're just going to run Windows Update again, just to double check. We know it's the latest update because we got this annoying hover over news pop-up down the bottom. So I'm going to right click on the toolbar, I'm going to go to News and Interests, I'm going to turn that off. So the only other updates are a couple of Windows Defender updates which have just gone in. So now we're all up to date. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to shut this device down, we're going to open it up, and we're going to have a look at the upgrade options. Okay, so looking at the bottom, this should just come off fairly easily. Depends on whether there's any screws underneath the rubber feet here, but we're going to remove the screws from around the outside of the case. Just as well we've checked this really, because they all seem fairly loosely done up. So when we do put it back together, we'll make sure that the screws are all done up nice and tight. So far all the screws are the same length, and then we've got one in the middle here, don't forget that. Which is a longer one, so we're going to put the longer one to one side. Okay, so what we want to do is, looks like we need to get a prizer tool. Just make sure there's nothing under there. Okay, so there we go. So we want to prise the edge away. Okay, now we can get our slider in here and unclip all the way along. Like that. And there's our other screw. Like that. That can then lie back down, and here we go. Right. So under here we've got our NVMe drive, we've got our heat thermal pad across the top here. We've only got one 4 gig memory stick here. There's going to be 4 gig on the main board, and the other 4 gig are going to be somewhere potentially actually part of the motherboard. So let's see if we can find it. This is the Wi-Fi card. The Wi-Fi card is here, and I can't see anywhere else. So let's have a look at what we've got here. So this would be the space for you to add a SATA drive. I'm just trying to find where the connector is on the motherboard for the SATA connections. Let's have a look further. We'll tear it down a bit more. So we're going to remove this support bracket. Okay, there we go. Right. Okay. Let's see if we can zoom in a bit. Okay, so this connector here is for the SATA drive. So you would add a SATA drive, and you would need to get yourself a ribbon cable to SATA plug, which would then connect into the device here, and that will go into here. So this lifts up, put your ribbon cable in there, and that will close down, which is your additional storage. It's not as upgradable as some of the other systems that I've seen, but that's fairly easy to do in terms of someone who's okay with taking a laptop apart. So I'm going to put that back in here. I'm not going to take the main board out because this belongs to a client and we don't want to damage it. And then the last screw for this bracket goes on here. Okay, so in terms of the memory, it would seem that you get 4 gig that's part of the motherboard, unless it is underneath the main board, which I very much doubt. Let's see if we can go ahead and remove the battery just to check. I'm fairly sure it's not going to be underneath the battery. Why would you put memory under a battery? No, memory is definitely not under the battery. So that can only mean one thing, that the main board comes with 4 gig of memory on it, and then you can upgrade the storage by taking out this 4 gig stick and sticking in an 8 gig stick or a 16 gig stick, but that would be your maximum upgrade limit. So in terms of upgradability, yes, you can add an SSD drive, yes, you can up the NVMe drive in terms of storage capacity, and that's pretty much it. Okay, let's get this back together. Right, so let's get the cover back on. And that just all clips in nicely all the way around the outside. And we've got our long screw that goes in the center. Okay. So in terms of upgradability, yes, it can be upgraded in terms of the NVMe storage, adding an additional SSD drive, but I wouldn't recommend everybody attempts this. It looks fairly tricky in terms of needing to get the correct ribbon cable, which I'm sure you'll be able to get from the Asus website. But that's pretty much it. So what we're going to do now is clean this device up and get it off to our customer. If you found that video useful, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and just want to say, if you've got any comments, leave them below. We will get them answered, and we will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.